straight ahead where we're headed out, you'll notice the street actually curves. Why? Because when you're looking at a neighborhood, you want the illusion that the neighborhood continues on forever. If the house was just to end and you were right back on a street, you'd be like, oh, it's over. This isn't real. This is a backlot. Because it curves, you think the action goes on forever. You're like, oh, this neighborhood's beautiful.
Is the Screen House?
The Screen House?
From the movie Screen?
I don't think so. Maybe.
Freddy Krueger's house was right there.
They're on a break right now. So, believe it or not, this is the Matlock house on the right. So, Matlock solved mysteries here too. If you like 80s comedies, on your left, that is actually the sorority sister's house from Animal House. Delta, Delta, Delta. Ahead of it, you have Eva Longoria's home from Desperate Housewives. It was bright yellow in the show, it's tan now. They paint the exteriors, they look slightly different, so you don't recognize them. This house, the purple, was used for the Munsters. That was 1313 Mockingbird Lane. Terry Hatcher's character lived in this home. Now this has gotten a complete facelift. Since then, it's totally a different look to the house. At the time, it was a much simpler design. The house in the end here was home to Felicity Huffman's character.
Mga estudyante to, diba?
Hardy Boys filmed here as well. Are you serious? That's actually why they put the house back the way it is. That's the Hardy Boy design. Leave It to Beaver, the original show, filmed in this property as well. The house has been remodeled for the movie. At the end of the block, Edie Britt lived in this pink home. Eventually, Vanessa Williams' character came. Forgive me, I can't remember her character name. But Vanessa. Looks like they're working on a Canon 5D right now. Looks like this other half is either on lunch or taking a break. Over here. Yeah, I know, CTC. You guys want to come up here? You're good, you're good. Oh, you're okay, we're just walking in and doing a quick hello. So this is a great example of a fully practical set. It looks just like your home. So you're like, oh yeah, people could live in here. When you go, I mean, I wish it looked like my home, but it's a beautiful home setup. Obviously different rooms, different venues. You'll notice the ceilings are a little bit higher than typical homes. Some places even more than others. It's for lighting rigs. So we try to use smaller cameras in here to make it more practical. So this is obviously just a very basic home set in here. I want to take us next door over to the Blue House to see what's inside that house. Come on in, don't be afraid. I'm way too comfortable in this property. Is this the bathroom? This is the restroom area too. So on the show Desperate Housewives, Brie Vandekamp was the perfect housewife. So ironically, her house is also the bathroom for the set. So when they were filming with all the background actors, all the crew, everybody, the bathrooms were here. Now they had their own campers and trailers up the hill for changing and rest times. But inside this space, if you notice, it looks very different than the other one. So this is what most facade sort of sets look like when they're a little more practical, where they built out a back wall. In the backyard of this area, it was actually used for The Burbs with Tom Hanks. If you haven't seen that movie, it's on Netflix. It's about like the horror neighborhood. The neighbors might be killers or cannibals. It's really funny. If you haven't seen it, it's kind of amazing. But that gives you just a feel a little bit of the difference between the two homes, that this is obviously less finished. Now if you have a character who has to lean out and talk out the window, they go up onto these lighting areas up here, and the character would sit out the window. For Eva Longoria, she had the gardener downstairs, and she's like, oh hi, and she's leaning out the window. She's doing it from there. It's a lot less sexy. So we'll head out of here, and we'll get back on the shuttle, because I want to show you guys the acting building. We have a lot of actors.
Summer come.
Everybody on the street. We have the entire street. Trams aren't even allowed to come down here right now.
Yeah, and it honestly is a great opportunity for the summer camp programs to get a feel for this. You know, unfortunately, a lot of local schools no longer have arts programs, not just local, but around the country. So for many of our students, this is really the first time they get to explore what they want to do. And I think it's just a good opportunity, and obviously once in a lifetime here on a new studio lot. This lot's also home to Psycho House. It's home to the War of the Worlds crash site. It's where Sully was filmed. It's where this accident with the kid in Maroon happened. So we're going to make a right around the corner.
It could also be a link to the national enquirer, so.
So So I mentioned all the brick is fake. If you look alongside here, you'll see it sort of buckling on this side from the heat. If they were going to film here for a production, they would actually just come along with sheets of this. They actually have it done by model number. They can replace the thing now. So we're going to make it right now this week. Universal's in the process of expansion, not only the theme park, they're building 5 new sound stages. So they're which happens actors occasionally get insane requests. It's weird stuff. We're going to go through the acting building. It's a 5-story building. We're going to cover just a couple here, give you a feel of this area. Sorry, everyone's good? Oh, sorry. Wait a second, this room's on fire. So beyond here, there's a little cafe. There's also food trucks every day outside of here as well. They're constantly rotating, so the options food-wise are great. We're going to go into this area too. So just a little cafe just in the side. It's like a quick serve, so it's, you know. Hi, I have a tour group. Don't be self-conscious putting makeup on. You're great. Yes, this is one of the acting courses. Almost like a dance studio in this sense. They have freedom of movement in space. They're all getting ready. Oh, I'm an actor too, so I'm like, yay, exercise. I get really Pollyanna about it still, and I'm 11-something years in LA of doing it. So best of luck to all of you with all this. What are you doing today? What's going on?
Commedia dell'arte.
Oh, okay. So you're going from the Italian Renaissance, working your way to modern times.
Yes, this is a class called Period Styles, where we start in the ancient Greek theater and move all the way up to the 28th century.
You guys should watch. We have a show at 3.
Yeah, you should come
Got
watch
nothing
it.
going on at 3 o'clock.
I was
Come
gonna say,
on
what
back.
time is it now? Oh, yeah, not too far.
A few hours away.
Very cool. So you're doing mask time, you're doing makeup, you're doing all this moving from
Yeah.
forward. Very
Exactly.
cool. Well, good luck with the show. If I don't come back and see it on that side, kill it. I don't want to hear anything but good reviews, okay?
Thanks.
All right, thank you for being nice and welcoming us. We're gonna head this way. All of a sudden, everybody stopped. I was like, where did everybody go? So there's some more traditional classroom spaces here. Most of our classrooms don't actually have the desks in them for the obvious reasons. You're doing physical exercises. So we have this floor, which continues all the way down here. More classes here. There's another ballet sort of space in the other room. We do teach voice and movement as part of this program, so movement is obviously very important to actors. Your instrument is your body. It's different from our filmmakers, from anything else, because obviously you're really working from you. You are your own product. Upstairs is more classrooms like this, as well as a kitchen and a student lounge area, similar to the student lounges areas we've seen before. So I'll take you up to the 5th floor so I can show you a little bit more of the classroom space, our screening room in this building, and more. We've had quite a few successful alumni from this program. If you don't know Court Overstreet was on Glee for many years. The blonde kid. The 2nd floor as well, and then the 5th floor. So 3 out of the 5 in this building. Quincy Jones' offices are here, so occasionally you will see his people walking around, so you never know who you might get to meet here, which is kind of cool. If you don't know Quincy Jones, his daughter's Rashida Jones. He alone is like an amazing music legend. It's like a level of you're gonna have to Google him. I can't tell you how much he's done. So we'll come along this way. So the classrooms continue down here. As you look in that room, they're actually filming a camera scene, so they're obviously doing it on camera. Anyone who's not familiar with working on camera, it's totally different. It's a night and day. I grew up doing theater. I have immense respect for theater, but the skill from taking that performance down to the camera is a completely different skill set, and that's really what we teach at the school. On camera, what they'll call subtle performances, I think of it more nuanced. It's just different. When you have to hit the back of a room, like I did on the tour shuttle, you have to hit the back of the room. So it's a different, broader performance. Other things in this area, we have a recording studio here. So if you're doing a voiceover is a big part of our entertainment lessons in the acting program. The reason why, for obvious reasons, voiceover is an amazing market. I started that 3 years ago, having never done it before. I'm in a couple video games and I do an anthology series. It's my favorite thing I do. Because on paper, I'm like a generic guy in his 30s. I play characters from 16 years old to 70 years old, villains, everything in between, because I can alter my voice to do that. It's been the most artistically rewarding thing I've ever done, and it came out of nowhere. So I'm so glad it's part of this program. We'll go around this way and show you a little bit more. I mentioned casting when I talk about this program. If you are an actor in this program, you should be auditioning every single chance you get, because even if you don't get the job, you're learning. I have had, no joke, somewhere around 4,000, 3,000 auditions in my time in LA in 11 years. It's insane. I didn't book 3,000 jobs. Sometimes you walk in and they go, yeah, no, you're too tall. Like, and I send a picture in with stats and everything, like, you're too old, you're too young, you're always too something. If I can pass no other information on to you as an actor, it's not about you, it never is. It literally never is. I've never lost a job because, like, I hate your stupid face. It's never happened, at least not to my face. So it's ultimately about filling a spot. You're a solution as an actor. You're providing the performance to get the vehicle and the piece made. So as soon as you can accept that, that's going to make the audition process less scary and less horrible. Because I know what it is, and I know how often you walk in, like, I want this so bad, and those are the ones that are like, and the ones you're like, oh, I'll go in for this, I don't care. That's what, like, we'd love to have you. Like, of course you would. Of course you would.
That's true.
It's true. It's long games, I would say.
But if there aren't spots available, she'll probably have to park in the car wash. Because I asked her, I was like, do you need the equipment on the truck right now?
can see how close we
She's
are to
like, no, we
Universal.
probably don't need it for a while. So she can go park up in the car wash and
This
then
brown
go back
building
up
right
to
here.
get it.
We expanded out
when
pretty
she needs
quickly.
it, but
We
she
were
doesn't
that
know
going
how
for a
to
couple
get
of
there.
years,
She
and
needs
then
to
our
get
degree programs grew, our master's program grew, and we've obviously now in the multiple that you're seeing today. This building, Burbank Studios, and then Riverside, and then obviously whatever we do.
And then you'll be
over
off
here.
after that, right? You're off at 1:30.
Any questions while we're here? I know we have a
Yeah,
lot of
so
performers in this one. Anyone concerned about anything? I don't make
Sorry.
admissions decisions. I just give you a lot of information, so you can ask your questions and be judgy, and I don't care.
Bye.
No, you're just like, we already signed up. He's coming. Go ahead.
Can we ask technical?
Sure, absolutely.
Like for film editing, like what's the preferred software? Like
So we work in Avid. So Avid is the industry standard. Right now, you're probably, if you're doing stuff in high school or on your own personal computer, Final Cut or Adobe Premiere, there's a bunch of other great ones. That's going to help you so much because you already understand editing. So it's just a matter of learning that specific software. So if you've been working at all in editing, you're in a good spot. It's really one of those things where Avid is kind of scary. If you've ever sat down in the editing bay, Avid has its own keyboard that uses different keys than any other keyboard you've ever seen in your life. So to me, it's like landing a spaceship. I'm like, I don't know what you do with this. Lights, dims, whatever. We teach that as part of the program there too. If you did a short-term editing program, like we have a 4-week editing program, you would actually could be eligible to take Avid certification. That is actually available to you actually in the long-term programs. So we know that a lot of you are starting with a little bit of experience somewhere else, some of you more than others. We're a school. So the good news is we want to grow with you. We want you to come to the school and expand as an artist, expand as an actor, expand as a filmmaker, producer, cinematographer, and writer. If you're amazing right now, you're only going to get more amazing in this program. It's structure. Ultimately, like if you were an athlete, you got to practice. Same thing. You're working rehearsals. You're moving different muscles. You're keeping toned up and warmed up. I was talking about agencies. There are times I have lulls in my career. We're in one now. Where I go from being the one everyone wants to see to, no, I've seen her before. That happens in a career. So you have ups and downs, it's natural. This time last year, I auditioned for 4 Netflix series, 3 FX series, 2 series where I go through ABC, and a Fox show. Nobody cares about me right now. I could be dead, no one cares. It doesn't matter, it goes back. It's my vacation. I'm like, oh, thank God, I'm not going to Santa Monica 4 times a week.
Right.
When you're in the long game, it's the wave. It really is. So the more you ease into that, and it's going to take time. I'm now at this like Oprah level at like 11 years in. The first 8.5 years, I was like, every day I'm dying, no one wants me. That's the actor side of me. You learn to go with the waves of this career. If you are looking at a career, it's going to take place over the course of decades. There are times you're the it girl, there are times you are not. There are the times you're the handsome guy, the funny guy. I've been every actor you could imagine. When I say I've been Ben Affleck, Ryan Reynolds, Michael Cera, the guy from The Office, Jim from The Office, Jonah Hill at one point. I've been everybody. Hollywood sees you as it sees you. You have two options. You go with that and you ride that niche for the while, and then you get off the train and change ships and you go that way. Or you fight it and you create your own projects where you get seen the way you want to be seen. What we do in our program is we try to give you the resources to know who you are and what you're bringing to the table, but also the ability to be adaptable into what is the job. It is a job. It's a skill, it's a passion, it's the thing I care the most about. But I will also tell you it is a job. You got to get paid at the end of the day. That's the goal. Otherwise, it's a hobby, and you can do that anywhere. Cool? Yeah. Cool. I'm like the less intense version of Chris, I think. We've both been in the business a very long time.
We lost Chris?
He's probably calming down soon. He does. He gets so worked up.
Passionate.
He loves it. Listen, in my life, if you walk around the industry and you really deal with people in the business, they all talk the same way about it. It is all we care about. We came from other places here to make this happen. It's all you care about. I have given up, listen, I could do a list of the things I've given up to be here in this town and the things I got from being in this town. So for everything you sacrifice, something else comes in hand. I don't have a very traditional life by comparison to my friends who grew up in Virginia with me. My life is different. No better, no worse, just different. It's what I was comfortable with. So that's how I feel. You know, it's not for everybody, and you may start this program as a filmmaker and decide you're a cinematographer and change gears, or you might come in as an actor and be like, you know, I really, about year 2, started writing a lot more, so I'm much more interested in screenwriting. You know, that's going to happen in your career. My Pollyanna version of it, I'm sure I said this is an open house because it's my go-to. Sometimes you're just an artist, and that covers everything. So sometimes you're like, I just don't know, I like everything. I do too, I like everything. The problem with that is it's hard to specify for college. All you have to figure out within this program is what do you want to spend the next year, 2 years, 3 years studying? What do you want to really invest your time in? From there, you are going to do everything in this industry. I've done everything from pulling light ropes across to writing to producing. I was the assistant to the senior vice president of strategic sourcing at Paramount Pictures. I had a drive on, I had an office at Paramount Studios. What did I do? I don't really know, but I was very good at it. I really don't. It's a lot of math. But it built in my wheelhouse for what I do. Before I was at New York Film Academy, I was an actor mentor for a lot of actors, so this was very organic for me. I went right into a position where I basically spend most of my day talking to actors. That's my specialty. I talk to filmmakers, I talk to producers, I talk to everything. For the actors, it's always like a 10-minute longer call, because I'm like, let me warn you and help you and encourage you. It's its own world. It really is. And if this is something you're serious about, it is a lifestyle. It doesn't mean it's for your life, it is your lifestyle. You can always make a left, you can always make a right. I remember this time period of looking at colleges like it was yesterday. As I told you, my mom's a cuckoo in the best possible way, and my dad is even worse when it comes to things like this that he can research. So my dining room table was 27 college brochures. I remember it like it was yesterday, like I'm looking down at it right now. Just going, I don't know what's next, I don't know. This is your decision for the next step. I personally, with all my students, all my prospective students, I want you to find the right college. If it's us, fantastic. If it's not, as long as you're happy, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Did you do the BFA here?
I did not. The BFA did not exist. That's how old I am. I was here before that time period. So the BFA program is a little over a decade. It was 9 years old at this point, almost 10 years old, at this campus, in this structure of it. I went to college, I graduated in 2004, so I missed it by like 5 years. I did look at the New York campus when I was looking at colleges, but my mom's a teacher, so it was, no, you're not getting a college degree. It was like, so when you go to college? And I was like, well, maybe I'll do it. No, when you finish your bachelor's degree. So that wasn't a thing for me. So this wasn't just available at that time. Yeah, and I've known New York Film Academy literally since the entire time I've been in Los Angeles. When I worked at Universal, they were there all the time, so I started doing research with it. It's just an organic transition that I ended up working here. It's kind of fun. Normally we have a tour guide named Gonzalo, who's like 20 and cute and everyone loves him, so I'm sorry you didn't get him. Sorry to get the old one, but that's what I do. And he graduated from our AFA program and he's doing extraordinarily well. In fact, the reason he's not here today is he's working on a feature film. And he graduated in October, so less than a year around that. Multiple commercials. That kid is so commercial than anybody. Yeah, he's like junior Tom Cruise. But that said, truthfully, you won't need real equipment from anything outside of here. But I have friends who are photographers who are like, oh, I have an old film camera, it's my favorite, and that's what they work on. So they don't do their projects all the time on that, but they still may say, yeah, but when I'm out on the weekends, I use my film camera, like a 110 or a 35 millimeter. But anyone who doesn't know what a 110 camera is, it's like this little tiny, it looks like a spy camera. I was shooting those back in like '83. How old is he? Too old, whatever. So that's the acting building. We're gonna head out this way, hop back on the shuttle. I know this tour's been going really long, so I'm gonna wrap it up with you guys and let you run free with life. Just because they're doing a lot of construction. But there's another whole other building with 2 floors of post-production there too. So that's never an issue on that side. We do have a housing department that can help him too, just for specifics. So if he's like, oh, I have this much to spend every month and I'm looking at this, that's a good option to sort of give him stuff to work with him. And if you need someone to live with, they can connect him on Facebook for roommates before looking for roommates.
Okay. He's thinking of staying in Alva.
Okay. A lot of our students stay there. Yeah. You know, we have 6 different apartment complexes that work with our students regularly. That's one of them, and they're really strong. So.
Which is the nearest?
I think that one's very close, and then Toluca Hills is very close to the acting building right there.
Is that like walkable?
I would say
like
Uber.
joggable.
Well, Uber. I think Uber now is like $2, $3 for some of these buildings to get down here. So for students who don't have a car, that's like $4 a day. Because you're coming down once, you're here all day. You're heading home. So that tends to be the best if you're not driving. If you have a bicycle, obviously you can do a bicycle too. So yeah, so you rely on that. And also, truthfully, if you're staying there at these buildings that are very popular among students, you're gonna have friends who have cars. So you'll be like, hey, you go to class at 9 tomorrow? All right, I'll meet you out front at 8:55. Like, you know, great, cool. I'll take you to lunch next week. So it's a school, so that happens pretty regularly.
Okay.
Anything else?